let me know when you can see my screen and we'll be good to go.
I can see it. We are ready to go.
Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for joining us today. I hope everything is well with you and your families. As Brooke said, today we're here to talk about the building dashboards within JD Edwards. And what we have to start with is we have to start with understanding where is JD Edwards today and why is it important to be able to build dashboards within JD Edwards. As you can see from this slide, we're currently in what we refer to as a supervised ERP kind of system, a system that has robotic processes and other augmentation type of services and other type of decision-making tools that are in the software that predicates the fact that we no longer need humans to act certain ways and do tasks. We need them to be more of a decision maker within the ERP system. So we have to understand that back in the day, when ERP systems first started, what did we really care about? We really cared about a few things. We cared about our gas level. We cared about how far and fast we were going. And maybe we cared about, our battery. Is our battery, the way it should be, or is it running low? Very few things we had to really think about and worry about back in the day. But today, ERP systems, there's so much information, there's so much going on that we need the ability to quickly discern and quickly get to the information that we need to have, and we need to be able to quickly make that decision that we need to make. Hence, we need our ERP system now to provide us with these dashboards so that we can do our job. I'm not talking about a data warehouse where it consolidates a bunch of information and then presents it back. I'm talking about just right there, the data we have within our ERP system, it needs to be able to produce and present to me the information that I need to see. So, how does that happen? Well, your ERP systems have inherent tools in them within the infrastructure that allow you as individuals to update and manage and get the most out of your applications, hence your data within the existing ERP system. They provide to you these infrastructure tools. They give you a rapid time to achieve value for the investment you're paying maintenance dollars on. You no longer need to have IT. You no longer need, let me back up. We'll always need IT, but we won't need IT to develop reports or to change a form or to do other things that we need. Thereby, it lowers the cost of ownership in your JD Edwards investment, while at the same time providing individual users the ability to configure and personalize the solution rather than have IT create a new view or a new user interface. Now, there's constraints and considerations with that point that we'll talk about as we move forward, but your ERP system today, JD Edwards today, is giving you a scalable product that can grow as your business grows and you put your tentacles out in other different areas and collect other different types of information. At the same time, it's giving you the technology that today's workforce is looking for. So how is JD Edwards allowing you to do all of that? By providing you these user-defined objects, UDOs. The UDOs are what's key for you to create your dashboard. You need to be able to understand and consume and create via these UDOs what you need to look at so you can create the appropriate dashboard for yourself or your organization. Now, we have a lot of different applications out there in JD Edwards. We have a lot of different information that's stored in these different tables for these different applications. So, We talked about a data warehouse a second ago. We still may need the ability to combine multiple tables together so that we can get at the data that we want to see. And we'll talk about that in a second as well when we move on. So understanding we have multiple tables in Edwards, we have multiple applications in Edwards, we have a bunch of data coming in Edwards. What do we do to construct our dashboard? What type of UDOs do we need to look at and understand? Well, we might start off with a query. And that query is going to define the set of information we want to look at. And then we may say, well, I also want a watch list to be over that because I want to be notified and I want to understand when things are changing. And I might turn around and I might say, well, wait a minute, I also want to have Cafe One, where I could turn around and have an application and join that with other, external programs or internal applications of Edwards. And when variables change in one, I want to see and update all the other panes as well. Maybe I'm going to have certain springboards I want to create. And all of that might be wrapped around OneView reporting. Well, then what do I need to do? Maybe I want to invoke some orchestrations and notifications because I don't want to manually keep doing these things myself. Maybe I want to create an orchestration that turns around, and when data from a watch list occurs, instead of me having to go to the watch list physically to look, maybe Orchestrator shoots me an email so that now I have a link and I can act upon that watch list item, but I can do it mobilely. So we're taking our dashboard and the components of our dashboard away from just having to be us signed in on the system. We can use orchestrations, we can use notifications to create a singular customized user dashboard. Now, if you saw at the beginning of the presentation, Brooke put up a slide that on May 7th, we have another webinar that talks about common uses for UDOs. That's where you'll start to get a deeper flavor for how do you use them, what do you do, things of that nature. For my presentation purposes, those have already been created, and I'm just going to show you how to link them together within a dashboard. So what are the UDOs? When you look at this slide, when I talk to this slide, I also want you to pay attention to the tools release level that some of these are on, because you have to understand as an organization that if you're not on that tools release level, you will not be able to do this. So we talked about queries where you don't have to worry about constantly filling in a QBE line to segregate your data. You could create up multiple queries to see orders by product family or orders across customer groups. You might have a grid format that you change so you can see the pertinent information in the order and in the sequence that you want to see it. Cafe One composite application framework, again, this is a little different than a composed page in that you can integrate third-party products and other applications all within Enterprise One. And as I said, as a variable changes in one pane, it'll update all those other applications dynamically. You have your classic E1 pages, right? You'll see some of those. You have your OneView report. Now, when I create my dashboard later, including a OneView report, understand that you can even create your page using something like Reports Now. So it's not just things within JD Edwards that you have to use. You can launch and invoke other applications as well. We talked about a watch list, which is over a query, and a composed page, as I said, is different than Cafe One. The composed page I'm going to create, even though I may change variables in one pane, it doesn't update or doesn't change the data in the other panes that are on my screen. There's still more. You have images now that are stored in the database that you can put on reports, that you can put against master data, things of that nature. Orchestrator, that's the key to a lot of integration. That's the key to a lot of inbound, outbound data movement. That's the key to a lot of notifications as to when certain conditions happen or change. It could be as simple as saying, does a certain piece of data exist? Or those of you that have multi-currency, could be that you download your currency exchange rates every day and update your tables every day instead of having a custom job. Personalized forms let you see information the way you want. Search groups, that's a nice way for you, and I'll show you that really quickly, to look at information, be able to then see relevant information or drill into an application just by searching for a particular name or number or whatever. And we talked about notifications and a scheduler. How do you want these things to occur? Do you want them to be dynamic? Do you want something else to occur? Last but not least is form extensions. Now this is big because for those of you using JD Edwards, and I talked about a table and I talked about the amount of data that's out there, you might visually see on a delivered form from JD Edwards only 80% of the relevant pieces of data on that record. For some of you, you may use user reserve fields to store certain information from other applications. Form extensions now allow you to take those columns, i.e. pieces of data, that you normally don't see and bring them onto the form now so that you can visually see them. So you can see the tools release levels you need to be at for those, okay? And the nice part about it is the forms that you can use this on now have expanded into your find, browse, search, select, parent, child. So Edwards is continually adapting the way that you can use the component UDO to develop the dashboard the way you need to see it. Why is that important? It's important because users, they constantly say, I need to do things better. I need to do things more efficient. But yet every time we upgrade, what do they really see? They really don't see anything. It's changed now where users need to be aware of what's available and be able to consume and act upon what they need to consume and act on. Developers, they're ready for new tools. They're ready for new things. They're tired of simply taking the same old and just tweaking it so that the user can get what they want to get. The user now has the ability to do that. IT needs to get out of the business of performing these big bang upgrades over and over and over. And they need to remove themselves for being the blame because they can't deliver what users want. Now users have the ability, users should do it on their own. Now, again, as I said, there's considerations. But what is going to be the benefit of incorporating these UDOs and the UX1 experience, right? That's what UX1 is. It's the experience of using UDOs. You're going to eliminate customization, but that only helps if you continually adopt the UDO. Just because Oracle comes out with it, just because you do a tools release upgrade, if you don't adopt the change, it doesn't matter. If you can't create your own, JD Edwards and Oracle has built some predefined roles that you can use in your organization to get you there. And you'll see some of those. UX1, users have the control now. Users are the ones that can do these things themselves. So users are constantly saying, You're asking me to do too much. You want me to understand why this sales order hasn't gone out. I see the item is back ordered. I have to go back into inventory, understand what's going on. I have to run all these other reports. There's just too much for me to do to get at the information I need to get at. There's no way that me as a user can achieve my potential by having to constantly do these things and have to worry about, talking to other people and doing other things. I need help. I need an easier way where I can do this and see the information I need to see. Well, dashboards and JD Edwards is an easy way for you to do that. It's so easy, a baby can do it. And trust me, if Tom can do it, all of you can do it. So, what do we need to consider? We need to say to ourselves, okay, wait, can my workforce consume the modern tool and technology? I've seen many organizations where people have been around so long that they get stuck in the mud and and this is the way they need to do it. This is the way they want to do it. They don't necessarily need to do it that way. They just want to do it that way. Well, that might be good for them, but it's not good for your business. It's not helping your business thrive. Who should be the people responsible for creation of dashboards? Anybody can create them, but should anybody create them, or should there be a consistent, mechanism? Should the head of every department create it? How do we move it within the organization? How do we not only promote it to the masses and the people, but how do we promote it within the various environments? Because again, UDOs, even though they're user defined, they're still quote unquote custom objects in JD Edwards. So they should follow your normal change management process. How do we deliver dashboards? Do we deliver them via email? Do we deliver them on demand where somebody just runs it themselves? Do we have an orchestrator invoke it and send it to them? Should it be an on-demand or scheduled type of activity, or both, right? And last but not least, should everybody have the capability to do this, right? Is there some kind of security concern? Now, Oracle started several years back delivering fixes, delivering new objects in JD Edwards, and they started delivering them locked down. And what that means is you need to understand the life cycle that when you get a UDO, you have to secure it, you have to make it available. When people create it, you have to approve it. And you have to do that across all your environments. And again, should be like any other quote unquote custom object that you should start it in dev, you should make sure it works, and then move it up. So every UDO, it's a personalized object, and people create it for their own consumption. And then if they want to share it, they request it to be shared, and an administrator needs to approve that to share to another user, another role, or your whole organization. And your user or your approver has to do that through a specific web application. So now your ability to create it or share it or view it is all dictated by the security that you're given. So that administrator, when the new tools release came out and form extensions were delivered, you don't see those right away. Your administrator has to grant you access to create, share, or view. And the new WebOMW process is the way you move those. Now, I'm telling you this because your dashboard that you create is a UDO object, and that has to move through the life cycle. But don't worry, all UDOs have a consistency. The icons are all the same. You save as, you request for somebody to publish, you might check it back out to do things to it, or you might have created one just for the hell of it and now you want to delete it. So, having said all that, when we get into it, you may see a screen when you invoke your UDO that looks like this, where you have personal UDOs that are just for you. You might have some that you requested to publish that haven't been pushed along yet. Your administrator may have looked at it and says, wait a minute, it doesn't follow standards. So they may reject it and you have to fix it. And once it's promoted, if a person has the ability to change it, they may reserve it so they can change it. All right, let's quickly look at a demo and let's see how we can create a dashboard and what it looks like. And what I'm doing is I'm signing into my environment. My environment is the latest and greatest tools release, okay? And what I want to start out by saying is there's so many different ways now for you to access information in JD Edwards, so many different ways for you to see a dashboard or to do different things. I mean, you can have a classic page with various swim lanes and icons to do things. You might turn around and you might say, hey, wait, I want to just see my traditional, E1 classic page kind of stuff. Or you might turn around and you might say, wait a minute, I want to create a landing page dashboard that looks like this, where I could turn around and I can see various types of information. I can hover over things and see other information, right? I can launch it out, this, that, and everything else, a number of different ways. The other thing you could do is I talked about this search, right? You could come up here and you could start saying, well, I want to search on 4242, and you have various search types. Well, what do you want to search for? Well, 4242, I don't know what it is. Is it an item number? Is it a customer number? Is it some other thing? Well, maybe if it's a customer number, I might want to see what? Some relevant information like the number of orders they have open or the number of invoices and the value. Now, this is just information only. You can't do anything. Or maybe I want to turn around and I actually want to launch something. Maybe I want to launch an invoice app or a sales order app and actually get into the application. And now once I'm in here, I have full functionality to do whatever it is I wanted to do. But again, you can see that I said, hey, I want to see 4242, and it pops up for the item master because it even looks at parts of the data element that you're saying you want to see. So again, search is a nice way for you to go and do what you need to do. What else can we do? Well, let's talk about, and again, I'm just going to launch from my favorites. Let's just open up an application, and right now I'm opening up my customer service inquiry screen. And from this customer service inquiry screen, let me get my little thing out of the way here. From my customer service inquiry screen, what I can do here is notice that I have my other UDOs. I have my queries, I have my watch list, I have my form extensions and personalization. So there's a lot of different things that we can do up here. But what's going to be important is when we create this compose page that I'm going to, there's certain information you need to know when you go to create your compose page. And what that information is, if I hover over customer service, you'll see that it comes back with the application number, comes back with a form number, and comes back with a version. That's the minimum amount of information you're going to need to know when we create this compose page. You can very easily get the same thing when you're in the application. If you hit this little question mark and say about, you'll see that that same information pops up on the side of the screen and you can get it that way. Again, the point is we need to know various pieces of information in order to create this dashboard. So again, this is a standard delivered JD Edwards inquiry screen over the 4211. And if I look, you can see that if I said, show me all the columns, there's maybe 100 or so columns on this form, okay? That's different, and I'm only pointing this out to you just to make you understand when you talk about OneView reports and things like that. That's different than if I went into, let's say, this UX1 order detail inquiry screen. When I'm on this screen, this is a delivered join by Oracle of data across not only order entry, but data across customers, customer master, AR. You'll see if I scroll across, I'm going to have other information in here, things like delinquency, aging, things of that nature. So you as an organization have to understand when you're going to create your dashboard and generate a OneView report, if you need to join information, that's where your IT group has to get involved. Now, if I look at this and I select this query that says Tom less than 900, in effect, I said I want to see all my orders across all different order types that are less than 900, meaning no back order, it's not closed, whatever. Okay?
Hey, Tom, we did have a question. Yeah. Somebody asked if they could see the team customers dashboard page again.
Huh, okay.
Sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay. So let's do this. Well, we'll do it this way. Hang on one second. So I don't know what you're looking to see here, but basically we have watch lists on the side. We have various OneView reports that are driven off of customer information and invoice information. We have springboards over here that can get out to other types of quote information or things of that nature. We can see when it's been updated last, and if I'm on this page for a while and I want to just get more information, I can just say, hey, reload it. That's the kind of thing you can do with a dashboard, okay? All right, so I don't know, Brooke, if what other kind of question they wanted or whatever, but let me get back in here and let me at least show you what I want to show you with this detail inquiry screen. So when I'm on this query that says Tom less than 900, I'm going to have X number of records. I went through and I created a OneView report, and this OneView report, based upon the query of items less than a status of 900, I created this report with several different tables or several different charts and a table. And you can see that basically this chart says I want to see my extended price of an order across order types by company. This second one said, hey, I want to see my extended price across various branch plants, and within the branch plant, the order type. And then down below, I simply created a table of the relevant data that supports this. And what I want to say to you now is this is very similar to what you would do in a pivot table in Excel. So it's a very, this is a very simple, straightforward kind of thing. You could create within your data drill back capability that when somebody's on the report and clicks on it, they can actually launch the application as well. So those are the report definitions of what I created. Again, looking at this table, you can see that there's going to be a lot more information here than what is in that customer service inquiry screen we looked at earlier. The last one I want to show you is I want to show you that I went in, and again, through a UX OneView type of form, open sales inquiry, I created another query that said, hey, I only want to see orders that are at a status of waiting to invoice and ship. And if you notice, when I invoke this query, there's only 4 line items, 4 orders that met that condition. I created a watch list over that. And the watch list says, you're based upon this query, and these are the parameters of the query. And I also said that once I hit a certain threshold, this is what I want to see. And the reason I'm showing you this is because now you notice that there's only 4. In the past, you might have to come up and run this watch list, and when you ran it, here's that query and watch list that I was talking to that says I have 4 records, and when I launch it, it'll launch this application. But what I want to do now is I want to create and put all these together into one little composed page that can show you how you can create a very simple dashboard in a couple of minutes. Again, all of this, if you haven't been granted access, you can't do it. You need to have access to create a composed page. And when I start to create this composed page, the first thing I want to do is I want to include that OneView report we created. And that OneView report I created was off of the P4238 program. Remember, I said we need to know the form and the version. Well, the form is A and the version was 1. What report do I want? I want the report I created called Tom, and I want it to run over that query I created. So I'm going to say, okay, and what the system's going to do is it's just going to plop it in the middle of my screen. Well, what else do I want to do? I want to add a springboard. I want to be able to come out, and I want to be able to launch this springboard so that I can get to other applications and other data that I need. So again, we can just, use the Visual Assist and do what we want. I happen to know the springboard name that I want, so I'm going to select this one. I'm going to say okay, and it puts my springboard on the side of the page. Now I want to create my watch list. I grab my watch list and I drag it and drop it where I want. I'm going to give that a name as well. And what do I want? I'm going to pick the ones I want. I created my query that was called Tom next orders between whatever. Maybe I want to get another one that says, credit order exceeded. So I scroll down where it says credit. And I want to take one that says credit limit exceeded. Maybe I want to grab another one that says credit limit or, held orders to release. Let's take held orders. And you're getting the gist of what we have to do here. Held orders to release. And last but not least, because I'm thinking of the complete supply chain, if I have orders that are waiting to ship, but maybe they're waiting to ship simply because I don't have inventory, maybe I want to see requisitions that are out there that haven't been, brought back yet. Now, what do I want to do? I want to be able to turn around and see that if I have this OneView report running and there's information there and I want to be able to go back out and I want to see my customer service inquiry screen, Well, now I can turn around and take that. And again, I need to know the form and the version. ZJDE01. So I'm going to say, okay. It's going to turn around. It's going to put that out there. When I'm all said and done, again, these icons at the top, I'm simply going to hit save. It's going to ask me for a name. I'm going to give it a name. Oh, well, you have to give it one that is different. So let's just do this. We'll call it AAA. It's going to save it. When it's done saving, you'll see the screen refresh. I can simply close this. And now when I close this, you'll notice in the banner bar, you'll see up here that it created my page. And again, if I refresh my screen by simply clicking on something else and launching my page, there it is. Now what I can do from here is I literally can work and do whatever I need to do. If I want to expand this, I can expand my report. When I look at my report, if I simply want to turn around and maybe see SO orders or SD orders, I can do that. My table changes, the values change. So again, it could be very dynamic, right? If I want to see SO orders, I can see SO orders, and then I can see what branch SO orders are in. I can turn around and put this back in if I wanted to see the application, the same thing. Here's my watch list, right? If I click on my watch list, now I go right into the application with the query that I put in. I'm able to do my work. When I exit out, I go right back to my dashboard page. So again, very easy to create. You just need to be able to have the authority to UDOs. You have to be able to understand, you know, what type of security you need to be and put in place and things of that nature. So let's finish up and let's talk about some other considerations that you have. You need to understand that as an organization, you don't need to run around in circles trying to figure out who to go to, who to talk to in order to create and get at the data you need to get at. To create a dashboard is easy. You just need to have authority. Now, I used OneView reports. You may not own OneView reports. Maybe you own reports now. You can just as easily embed reports now where I had OneView reporting. Maybe you have Spreadsheet Server, the same thing. You don't necessarily need to use everything within JD Edwards. But what you need to understand is, what is it you're looking to do? How is it all interrelated? How can I put it together? You need to weigh your options. You need to say to yourself, well, no, I'm going to keep waiting. I'm going to let IT develop some things or whatever. Well, that's going to cost you more money. You're paying maintenance. You're getting these things for free. You should be able to develop them and do what you have to do on your own. So understand, by thriving with your JDE investment, for those of you that have been around a while, this is an old slide that Lyle showed maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago, but it's still germane today. Oracle, JD Edwards, they're not stopping development efforts. You need to continually adopt the changes, consume the changes so that you can transform your business. You need to make sure you're aligned with the direction that Oracle is going and the direction of how you use the tools within JD Edwards. And if you do that, you'll be able to expand your business. You'll be able to make JD Edwards that market share expansion machine that it should be for you to get better market share. You need to understand that you have to reach for new opportunities so that you stay focused in your industry. You have choices, but you have to make the right valued choice. and engage in new ideas. So, make Edwards a market share expansion machine. Understand that people need to do things their way. Give the people the capability to do the things their way. Understand what is the process that we should be doing and how we should be doing it. Utilize that technology that is available within the process and let the people do it. And by doing all of that, you'll get your true business value. So use JD Edwards in order to achieve that. Understand that staying current lets you focus on your IT costs. They become predictable now. What is IT doing? They're just supporting the infrastructure of the software. It gives you total visibility. By creating a dashboard and using UDOs, you get total visibility across the organization. Okay? You can improve your reporting. More importantly, you minimize customizations. That reduces costs. That increases your return on your investment. That improves your efficiency within the organization, not only in data flow, but in people, right? Get you better customer service to your customers. Most importantly, it's securing your data and providing quality, reliable data to you, especially when you begin using Orchestrator to move data back and forth. You remove the human element, you remove redundancy or duplication. And all of this together gives you one holistic view of the organization, one holistic workflow of data moving back and forth in your organization. So we talked about citizen developer. We talked about the human aspect. We're talking now, we're in this new ERP model where machines are going to detect, decide, and do. That's what orchestration can do. Orchestration could detect data coming from a third-party system. If it goes to get into Edwards and certain conditions aren't met, it could decide that, hey, I need to now send an email message to somebody, or I need to send a notification to somebody. And when that person responds, Orchestrator can take it and now update the database. So now we're getting a more real-time flow versus people just, looking at information, trying to figure out what's going on. So deliver the data, deliver the information internally, externally, using Orchestrator to achieve what you need to achieve. Now, with that, I'd like to tell you that coming in May of 2020, GSI developed a product that's called Genome, a detect, analyze, automate product, which is going to be able to sit on top of your Edwards system, look at all the customizations you have made in your Edwards system, and determine which of those can be replaced by Orchestrator, and dynamically develop the orchestration for you. So now you can remove maintenance of other integrations and utilize the inherent JDE toolset. So again, that's another way to make sure you're keeping value with your investment. Last but not least, the things I talked about today, the things you could see if you joined the webinar on May 7th, some of you may say, well, wait a minute, I don't know if I really am getting the value from JD Edwards that I should be. I'm confused. Is it really allowing me to be that market expansion machine that my business needs? What GSI is willing to do is give you a business value assessment to understand how are you leveraging UDOs, how are you leveraging dashboards, how are you managing and getting the information you need in a timely manner. So again, if you want to, you can see the web address to go to. So with that, we're going to open it up for some questions and answers. And, Brooke, what I will do right now is I will open the little window pane now to see what's going on. Are you taking control back, Ms.
You know
Burke?
what? Do you mind if I cover a few follow-up items really quick before we go back?
Not at all.
We answer some
You're
questions.
the boss.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom. All right. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes, I can.
I think I was paused. Sorry. Okay, cool. Thank you. Awesome. So, well, thank you so much, Tom. That was great. I just want to cover a few follow-up items, and then we'll move into our question and answer section of our webcast. And we have 2 virtual workshops coming up in May. We have our hands-on orchestrator workshop that is on the 14th of May, which is on a wait list right now. We are going to be doing another one on the 27th of May. So you are more than welcome to sign up to be put on the wait list. And we also have a UX 1 workshop on May 21st. And our webcast today is part of our ongoing educational webcast series on JD Edwards. And our current webcasts are currently listed on the screen. And if you would like to sign up for any of those, just visit getgsi.com/JD Edwards webcasts. And feel free to check out erptalk.com, which is a problem-solving forum where you can get your JD Edwards and other enterprise applications questions answered, as well as contribute your answers to others' questions. And be sure to stay connected with us on social media. All of our handles are currently listed on the screen. And we post every day, so you can see our most up-to-date posts on webcasts, events, industry insights, and a whole lot more. And we also offer free educational resources for the JD Edwards community, including our webcasts, newsletters, our resource center, our YouTube channel where we put all of our recordings up on YouTube, and we also offer on-site and virtual workshops. All right, and one more thing, Tom, bear with me, and then we'll switch it over.
Go ahead.
If you want to sign up for any of our weekly email reminders, just go out to our website at getgsi.com, go to resources and events on the main menu, and then you can select JD Edwards on the right, and then you can select webcasts, resource center, so on. And I see we've had a couple questions already submitted. I would like to remind you that if you still do have a question and you would like to submit it, you can do so using the question panel on the GoToWebinar console window on the right side of your screen. And if you did minimize it.
Right. So what I can...
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no.
I was going to say I'd just read the question myself if you want.
Go for it. Yep, go for it, Tom.
Okay, so the first question comes from Sally. She wants to know, is there a specific tools or application release that we need to be on in order to create dashboards? And the answer is there's different levels. So certain aspects of the dashboard I showed you, those UDOs are out on early tools releases. Other ones, like if you want to create a form with a form extension, that's a later tools release. But for the most part, as long as you're on, 9.0.2, I would say you should be able to do the majority of it. If you want to do everything, you should be at least a 9.2 tools release or higher. The next question comes, well, it's very similar. We have one from, and I apologize if I get this name wrong, Lakshmi and Will. Both of you are asking a similar question about, do I need to create a dashboard using OneView Report, or can I use another tool? The answer is you do not need to create a dashboard with OneView reporting. I could have very easily created the dashboard without a OneView report, or like I said, if you have a reports now, you can use that instead. Last but not least, if you do opt to buy a UX1 role from Oracle, the way that UX1 role is just like that screen where they wanted to see the dashboard, the team customers dashboard. Believe it or not, that is a UX1 role. And if you had bought that role from Oracle and you did not have OneView reporting, you would still get that dashboard with the OneView reports, but you would not be able to create additional OneView reports. So, you know, it was very good that we were asked to see that Teams dashboard to start with. That is an example of a predefined UX1 role. The next question is from Jane. Her question is, with continuous delivery of Oracle, how's this going to impact any dashboard that I may have created? Will I have to redo that dashboard? And the answer to that is no. Okay, so even though your dashboard that you created is a custom object, you'll still have that, and it still will be part of the simplified upgrade promotion aspect of JD Edwards. And what I mean by that is this. When I created the dashboard, it asked me for what product code, and I put in 55. Well, that says to JD Edwards that this is a custom object that Tom created. Therefore, when I do a future upgrade, that is going to move forward okay. Now, some of you might say, well, wait a minute, what happens if you used an application and Oracle made a change to that application? Well, again, that would be taken care of in the upgrade process, so net, I would still be okay, all right? The last question I have here, Brooke, is from Phil, and I think I might have answered this. He says, I heard about UX1 role. Do I need to purchase these in order to utilize dashboards or other UDOs? And what's the licensing? So no, UDOs, you get UDOs as part of the system. You can create a dashboard yourself as long as you have the security access. You don't need to buy a UX1 role. The only thing you might need to do is, as I said earlier, if you want to see more data, i.e., I'm looking at customer service inquiry and I'm looking at an item, but I'd like to see some of the item attributes on a report or on a form, then your IT department would have to get involved and join those tables together and create that view for you so you can see that. So not really. But again, all of you, I think that's the last question, Brooke, but in closing, what I'd like to say is all of you, if you'd like, take us up on that BVA where we could come in and we can look at things and you can say, well, geez, I'd like to see a dashboard that does A, B, C, and D, and we can help you understand what it is for you to actually do that. So with that, Brooke, I don't see any more questions. I'll turn it back to you, and thank you everybody for joining us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tom. You are the best. I wanted to thank you again for your presentation and everybody for your questions today. As a follow-up from our webcast today, we do ask that you complete a short 1-minute survey when you exit, and you will be receiving an email with a link to our resource center on our website where you can access the presentation from today, as well as a link to our YouTube channel where you can access the recording from today. And we will do the drawing for the $25 Amazon gift card, and anyone that attended the entire webcast will be eligible, and we will notify the winner.
Oh, Brooke, I thought one last thing real quick. For those of you that have seen something that spikes your interest and maybe you don't want a BVA or whatever, you can still reach out to us. And if you would like us to do a 1 hour, your company only type of presentation or whatever, by all means, reach out and do that as well. I'm more than happy. My coworkers are more than happy to say, if you want to get more of your coworkers together to see more of this, let us know, and we can do a one-off kind of thing for you. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sorry, Brooke, that's it.
Oh, no, that's fine. No, that was perfect timing because I am all done. So thank you guys so much for attending. And again, Tom, for your great presentation. And we hope that you guys have a great day, and we hope that you stay safe.
Thanks, everybody.